Matt, do you know what the Native American name for it is called?
It's in Lakota. It's Mato, which is bear. Bear's teepee. So Mato teepee.
It's Bear's Lodge.
A bear's lodge. Yeah, there's another word for lodge.
Clink.
Clink.
Oh, always a pleasure.
How you doing, my man?
You know, great. I did that Mystic Lake hike yesterday, and that was just fucking fantastic. So, awesome. I'm doing great.
let us know about it, man. Let us know about it. I saw some pictures.
It's a fun little hike. It's kind of one of those ones, it's not too far from Billings, so it's easy to do, but you're up in the Beartooth, you're in the Absaroka wilderness, bear country, pretty exciting shit. But it's one of those hikes where you do see people of all ages on it.
Mm-hmm.
You do see kids, you do see elderly people.
Yeah.
But it's one of those hikes that it will kick you in the ass if you're not ready for it. Because you do see people struggling on it. Actually, I did this hike in 2017, and there was a guy who actually died of a heart attack on this hike.
I mean, you can die of a heart attack doing anything, vigorous if you're not trained.
But he was healthy. He was a doctor.
It was kind
of eerie. It was eerie.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, but no, it's a good hike. I mean, we saw some family friends that were on it, which was weird because we were told, you're not expecting that out in the middle of nowhere, and you run it we literally ran into two separate families that we know on this hike. Yeah. But yeah, you could tell the mom of one of the families, she was struggling on the hike, you could tell she hasn't done it in a few years, and that's what it is. It's a good gauge hike. It's 1,300 feet elevation gain. It's 3 miles in, 3 miles out. So 6 miles round trip. Great hike. You definitely feel it on your legs going up because you hit a switchback spot. That's just going up the side of this mountain, which is really cool because you really just gain elevation quick.
Yeah.
And then it's a beautiful, one of those beautiful mountain lakes that, it's the water's so clear you can see the fish swimming in it. The river below is so clear. I don't know, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it looked nice. I mean, some of the pictures that I saw of it looked really nice. So
well, and what's really cool is you can do the hike, you can go camp overnight. There's some backcountry spots. I know people who've done it. They see mountain goats, they see bears. You can go all the way back 8 miles to a lake called Silver Lake, way up, back up there, which I think you'll be able to do one time. I mean, it's a cool little area.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to maybe do some sort of backcountry here at the September.
Oh wow.
Yeah, when it all depends, because this pandemic, I don't have a real job. So if I don't get this real job, I'm done with the cart after this week.
Oh wow.
Thankfully. Yeah, we found some people to come work. I mean, I leave town in 2 weeks, so because I gotta go move out of my place. But if I don't get the real job and everything when I get back, I'm gonna go try and do 4 days or something, maybe 3-4 days, just kind of like a digital detox, man.
I mean, it's definitely those type of trips are that, I feel like. You get away from the bullshit of life.
Yeah.
That's I think that's something that we used to do and we don't do it much. We get trapped in our towns and our cities and our society and our man-made things. We just get trapped in it, and we don't get outside of our shell and our box and go into those places. And I think when you do, it's good for your mind, it's good for your soul, it's good for your body. It's good medicine.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But
I kind of want to get away, and just kind of more search and focus on within instead of without or outward.
what?
Yeah.
Where are you thinking of going?
I haven't even really thought about it yet.
Wow.
So, yeah, I haven't gotten that much in detail yet, but
That's the problem. You just got to have it. Like right now, there's some trips like back of my mind. It's like where can I go? Do I go here? Do I go to South Dakota for like a long weekend? Do I go to Olympic for like a long weekend? Do I go over to Oregon for a long weekend? You know, it's kind of like
I know the kind
gotta
of
have it ready to go.
the two ideas that I had going was either head north to Olympic, because that would be super cool,
Right.
or head over to like Central Oregon and do like the Three Sisters area, or yeah, that would be a dope one, or just do something down in Humboldt.
Well, you know, all of those sound like awesome things. The Olympic one sounds really cool. That's something I want to actually get doing here in the near future, just because I had an opportunity last summer to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't because of like I was too afraid to use the ferry system over there. You know, because I've never done it before. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't want to look dumb. Do I have enough time? You know. And then like I ended up doing the ferry system. Like I was back out in Seattle like a month later, and we used the ferry to get over to this one island, and it actually turned out to be a really like it was really cool, really easy thing to do. And I'm definitely going to do a ferry.
The ferry's easy. The shitty part about like ferries is they're expensive.
I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, true. I mean,
like they're affordable, but they're
last time I used the ferry system, you know, I was traveling on like no money, so like, you know, every little penny was significant.
Well, but that's something definitely our listeners probably, you know, that is something to talk about. Like that when it does come to travel, like there's multiple ways you can travel. And there's a lot of times where we've traveled where it is like, no, we're budgeting ourselves by the penny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our campsites can't be over $14.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that, you know, we look into. But then there's times, and I feel like, you know, you take those times for granted and stuff when you're like, oh, hey, we're going to like stay in a cabin. Oh, hey, we're going to take the ferry. We're going to do this. We're going to eat at this nice restaurant. We're going to do that. We're going to buy these things and whatnot. And I think that's something people often underlook and overlook.
Yeah. And when I did the ferry, we did it to save travel time too, because we went into Seattle, spent the day in Seattle, and then from Seattle we went out to Port Angeles. So instead of going all the way down and then around, we just cut across that bay there.
Yes.
And then on top of it, we took the ferry from Port Angeles all the way to Canada, into Victoria, Canada. So, you know, and that's an expensive one because you're going international and stuff.
Yeah, I could see that. See, the ferry I did was from Seattle, downtown Seattle there, across to that island out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that when I did it. But yeah, it is one of those things I think people, you know, that's kind of like when you plan a trip, that is something to take into consideration. It is, you know, how many nights. I mean, and that's the other thing. Like I take Matt, for example. He budgets himself on his trips so that he can do as many trips as he can in a year.
Yeah, that's true.
But I've noticed he does a lot of like weekend trips where it's like a 3 or 4 dayer.
Mm-hmm.
Where I prefer to do like a week. I would like, because you can really pick and choose what you want to do and how you want to do it in that time versus a weekend. Because like when Matt came out here for that weekend, for example, like he was hoping the Beartooth Pass would be open, and it wasn't until like a few days later. And if you're in that week, you can work around a schedule change like that. Like,
yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, to give credit to Matt, you know, he's working, so you know, he's trying to get out and do awesome stuff in between times that he's working. So the fact that Matt just gets out is awesome.
Well, no, and I think that, yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I'm glad you hit on that point. And it's good that we're bringing him on later this episode
today.
He'll
be on here in a little bit, everybody.
That guy, dude, Matt Buddy. And go ahead, feel free,
love Matt Buddy,
to call him Matt Buddy, because he's your buddy, he's our buddy, he's his own buddy.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah. I talked to him today and then a couple of days ago too. Always actually real delightful chats, not like the sometimes annoying stuff you get from him. But no, I enjoy it. He's a kind soul, one of a kind guy.
I'm excited because I know well, we could talk about this a little bit going into it. When we stayed out in Yellowstone and we did that trip out there with all those guys, Matt was very referring to this podcast as our podcast.
Yes.
The whole time. Like, so he would speak as if he was a part of it. So I really appreciate that kind of attitude he has towards this podcast, because he wants to see it be successful. He wants to be a part of it. So that's why we're having him on again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a great guy, and he's fun. We can get something going. We're going to bring up back in 2016.
Yeah, shoot.
Mark and Matt lived together. They came out. They took they got on the Pony Express, got in the Honda Pilot, drove all the way from Portland, Oregon to Bozeman, Montana, then to Billings, Montana, then to Rapid City, South Dakota. And we went on a big trip together.
Yeah, it was fun.
Your friends Selena and Rachel were with us. All
that was our first time to Devil's Tower, and first time to Mount Rushmore, and then we went to Crazy Horse.
Yes, we did.
That
was it, that trip, because that snowstorm.
Yeah, it was super.
Oh, we did the Battle of Little Bighorn in Montana.
That's right. Yep.
Yes.
I mean, we'll tease everybody. We'll show them a video and stuff too, where they can see on this. Which the video is, I believe, on the YouTube page. So if you're listening, check it out on the YouTube page.
Quartz Lake Productions.
Yes. We'll probably have an ad for a shameless plug for us in this episode showing the YouTube page. So don't worry about it.
No, I'm excited. I think it was a fun trip. We had a fun time with the little squirrels. Not squirrels,
the prairie dogs, man.
Prairie dogs out in by Devil's Tower. It was kind of cool. Got up close and personal with them.
I got one of my favorite pictures of all time taken with those guys. With my GoPro, he came like right up to it, and so it's like a really cool picture, GoPro picture. Which is, I know its own unique thing.
No, speaking of like little critters coming up to me today, I'm sitting in the back of my house here. And like I have a sliding door, there's a street, there's kind of like a little like berm area like between my house and the street. I don't have a fence, it's a little condo. And a squirrel came up to my back door and like tapped his little claws like 2 times on my window to get my attention almost. And then he just like looked at me for a while. So then I got down on the floor and like looked at him, and then he kind of backed away, and then like just like we stared at each other for like 2 minutes. Like just like I was like, what do you want?
He wanted to come in, hang out,
Low key.
What's the temperature? What's the temperature over there?
Oh, it's in the 90s today. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy. Poor guy's probably hot. Probably wanted to come in, have a nice glass of lemonade. Talk about some things. He could probably ask him if he knows where Bigfoot is.
I know he probably get like a click system going with him to understand each other.
Yeah, seriously. Either that, or if you believe in reincarnation, he might be someone from a past life.
It could be. No, I love interactions with animals because I don't know. I personally, I've talked about this before. I feel like I have that connection that like when you just sit there and you can just stare and watch an animal, like you learn from it, and we don't do that enough as people. And I do that. I make that a priority in my life to do that. I study and watch I sat there for 2 minutes looking at him. You know, most people see a squirrel, they're done after, 2 seconds. They're satisfied with that, and I'm just like, no, I'm gonna watch him. We just had like a stare off. It was weird because I've watched other squirrels and they haven't done this with me.
That would be odd.
Yeah.
But this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Quartz Lake Productions. Quartz Lake Productions is making a series of videos and photos inspiring you all to go out and explore nature as well as the national parks. You can check out Quartz Lake Productions on their YouTube page, where they have a variety of different videos of different trips and many more to come, as well as episodes of this podcast will be on the Quartz Lake Productions YouTube page. So please go check it out. Enjoy listening. No, that's awesome. That's awesome that you got to do that hike this last weekend. I think you missed out on a perfect opportunity to pull some like Disney princess shit with the talking animals with that squirrel today, but
yeah, we tried.
Yeah,
but no, it was a fun little hike too. That's, like I said, it's one of those hikes that I think you would appreciate it, because it's just, there's something about it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's because I've gone to like that, the base of, like, there's a lake at the bottom of the, like, where the trailhead starts, called West Rosebud, and I go there quite a bit, and we've gone there for, like, since we've moved to Montana and lived in Montana, like, it's always been a place we go. I don't know if that's why I appreciate this hike, or the hike itself is one of those ones. I mean, you start off, you walk by a river, you're down in the trees, you work your way up the side of a mountain, then you get in, and then you see the lake. It's like, it's a beautiful hike. You're on top of the world. I don't know. It's something. It's just, do the hikes in the Beartooths. The Beartooths are a weird, cool place, and I think that might be it too.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. And everybody holds different areas to like their own magic and wonder, and rightfully so.
Exactly.
Every place has different meanings for everyone, but I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles,
I guess, man.
Yeah. As for me, my weekend, pretty laid back for the most part. Yeah, I went on a bike ride yesterday, Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday.
Sure.
Thought I was gonna do just a 25 miler, but I don't know distances, I guess, which there's a couple stories of me getting distance wrong a lot. Ended up doing like 35 miles. So, but I went out to the South Jetty here at the mouth of the Columbia River. Super cool, super gorgeous day. It was pretty sweet. Got to see the world's largest ocean. So that was a treat, as always. Get to sit on some rocks, taking the moment. I'm out in nature, and a bonus plus, I'm exercising in nature, because motion is the potion in my eyes.
No, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, that area, the Columbia River, where it goes right out into the Pacific, beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful area. Definitely worth going to if you haven't been there before.
For sure.
Both town of Astoria and Seaside, both great tourist towns to visit. Go to the
hit Astoria more. Seaside's but maybe that's because I grew up here.
Right. No, I get you. You're like Astoria's a little more yuppie. Seaside's more real.
Seaside is everything wrong with tourists. Like, Seaside just buys into it. So, I mean, which there's nothing wrong. They do really well. Yeah. But I mean, like, every tourist stereotype, Seaside just leans into it.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. They do well for it.
They got a rock shop.
Yeah, they got knickknacks.
I feel like rock shops are really big for tourist areas.
I think every town has a rock shop, to be real, though.
That's true.
You can be out in the middle of nowhere and they'll have a rock shop.
I know. People like cool rocks. Rocks are cool. They do cool things. I mean,
Yeah.
like they have. If you can get the right ones, you know, it's magnets. Magnets are rocks. You know?
True.
Like,
No, rocks are cool. I do like me some rocks.
ooh, where are we at with time?
We are at the time that we have all been waiting for today, is when we get our good friend Matt Buddy Williams, or as his Instagram handle is Lakota Thunder 82. I think it's 82 now. He just switched his Instagram up, so we'll have to double check with him when we get him on. He's been doing massive photo dump of all of his cool adventures. So check out his photos, people. Lakota Thunder 82. Or it could
tell
be
him we sent
else. We're gonna find out. But anyway,
send Matt a DM and tell him we sent us. Say Wandering Ways sent you.
Yes,
and he'll love it.
But anyways, people, let's bring on Matt Buddy. Just jump right into this.
Well, like, I love it. I love it. Matt's on his second time being on the podcast. We're going to talk about some. Oh, are you fucking kidding me?
Uh-oh.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know.
A caterpillar up and just fell into my drink. Just like on the roof. Fell, or ceiling fell into my drink.
You can't make this shit up, people.
What is that? Is that wine?
It's a Coca-Cola.
Oh, geez.
Good old Coca-Cola.
Fell right in.
That's a diabetic caterpillar.
Well, he's kind of living, but kind of dying.
Like sugar cone.
I wanted a drink. I'm going to run downstairs and grab a drink. I'm going to let you guys get this thing started. I'm going to let Mark introduce the podcast, talk to Matt, and I'm going to leave you with this while I go and get a drink, Mark. I'm going to leave you with this. I called Matt Buddy before this podcast. We had a nice conversation. After he told us he was done with the Tinder, with the Bumble, with the POF, with the Farmers Only, with the Match.com. He said he was done and through with it. This motherfucker brought it back. He is back on the dating apps, women. Come out, come get him. Here you go.
Man, I got 1 month left in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas, so I'm making it count.
Hey, all more power to you. More power to you, my guy.
We all got needs, man.
Yeah,
Single moms, they be putting out these things.
You just got to do you. You just got to do you.
I did take a break there, though, for a while, and I challenged myself. So I was able to do it. So,
that's good. That's good.
So, it's all about the right mindset.
I feel you.
Is like temptations. When you're about ready to reach your goal, those temptations start hitting you. You know?
Oh yeah, they wanna suck you back down.
That's the energy thing, with like the universe.
Oh yeah. Gotta make sure your chi is in line. You got some yin and the yang. Get good energy flow. Well, I'm all about that stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Buddy, how are you doing?
Anyways, what I was thinking we could do just to kind of get this thing off is we could play the video of our trip way back in 2016 that we were planning to talk about today.
Are you cutting this part right now that we're talking about?
No.
Oh.
We're live, baby. We are recording.
I assume we were, but the way you said it, the way we're going to show this video.
No, it's for our listeners to help them out, man. I'm gonna get this going. Gosh,
Well, I was thrown
It's
off.
like his
I was
first
like,
time doing a podcast over here.
I guess, dude. I guess. No, it's because that caterpillar threw me for a loop. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this
Anyways,
video, Matt.
yeah,
We're
we're
there.
gonna get the video up and going. So
Oh, I remember this one.
Let's let Matt go ahead. We're going to play the video. We're going to let Matt commentate for you guys. So Matt,
we can just talk about things and we can pause it if we need to. And stuff.
I was gonna say you better hold on because this will be a ride.
Yeah. And there won't be any audio for this, so it will all.
No, this is for our YouTube listeners that can view it on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Quartz Lake Productions. Go ahead and take a view. If you're on a podcast, we'll go ahead and you can listen to our beautiful voices as we sing you these sweet, sweet, sweet hymns of love about our work. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is early stuff. Early days of
GoPro Hero 3 is the logo you have.
I know, right? That's how early it is. But
Dude, I love that view from Devil's Tower.
Oh, I know. And this was the Prairie Dog I was talking about.
Great pause.
Where we had Matt on.
Uh-huh.
So when we were talking about my favorite picture, it actually comes from this video. But I love this little guy. He got right up in the grill. But that's a Crazy Horse for the people. And then Battle of Bighorn that we talked about. I don't know if you want to talk to or explain it more because you guys know more about that crap than I do.
Battle of Little Bighorn. Yeah, no, it's I'll let Matt get into a little detail here, but just for a quick overview, what the Battle of Little Bighorn is it was a battle site. Oh my God, you guys hear that thunder in the background? Shaking my apartment. Oh my goodness gracious.
No.
Dang, still going. But it was a battle that Custer and the 7th Cavalry fought against the Sioux people, and I think the Cheyenne were a part of this as well, the Northern Cheyenne, living in Montana. They got in a war during the Indian Wars in the 1800s. And it's actually the place where George Custer, he was the general of the 7th Cavalry, where he actually tried to do a surprise attack on these Native American warriors out in this valley in the Battle of Little Bighorn, the Bighorn River. And he was waiting for his reinforcements, but said, I'm going to go a couple days early. And well, that's where he died because he wanted to be a little early. I mean, really, that's it for him. That's for the American side of it. I mean, for the Native American side, it was a good, hard-fought battle. They won. The two stories I have for this is the reason Custer was doing it was because he wanted to make a run for president of the United States. So he wanted to have a big win, big like kind of war win under his belt out in the Indian Wars. Well, really, he lost. And the second is what they didn't see is down by the tree line there. You can see the kind of like the cottonwood trees with no leaves on them in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Down below the battlefield is actually where the chiefs and like some of the chiefs and whatnot were camped out during the battle. So that's where they were positioned, and it was a very strategic position. You could see things coming, but like it'd be really hard for them to see you. And that's another thing is when the America was moving west, and the cowboys and the U.S. Army and the 7th Cavalry was fighting the Native Americans. A lot of people didn't realize the Native Americans, this was their homeland. They knew how to defend it. They were being invaded. They were defending themselves. So. That's the side of history our history books don't tell us because our government doesn't want to talk about the bad things they've done. But, do you have anything to add, Matt?
Yeah, I do. No, you did a good job. You covered all the bases there. I was going to say, so the three tribes, the three main that were camped there, it were the Lakota, the Arapaho, and the Cheyenne. And so modern day, this is on the Crow Reservation, and a lot of people talk in Native country, they talk crap about the Crows because they were scouts for General Custer. so people saw them as traders. You know, the Arapaho currently got pushed down into Wyoming. That's where their reservation is. And then the Cheyenne stayed in the Crow, Montana. The Lakota are spread out throughout a few different states. But a lot of natives refer to this battle as the Battle of the Greasy Grass. Yep. And so the battle was in the end of June. And so the grass was starting to dry out. And, you know, had this looked like oily grass, Battle of the Greasy Grass. So...
I believe
that's a fun fact.
That's a Mark fun fact right there.
I approve of that. That fact has my seal of approval.
I believe there's actually a band. I want to say there's a Greasy Grass band of Crow Indians.
Oh, really?
And for those of you who don't know what bands are, a lot of Native American tribes, they have different societies. A lot of people like to think the Native Americans were savages, you know, just like unforeseen, just savages living out in the West, when really, like, they were governments, they were societies, they were doing all this stuff. And a band is kind of like, you have your family, then you have like your cousins and whatnot, and then like that second cousins, third cousins, that's kind of your band. And then there was different sections of families and main families and whatnot. I believe Crow actually has 11 or 12 I think bands, forsaken, and then they have, on top of that, there's things like warrior societies and other organizations that like were how they govern themselves back then.
Zach, the way I explain the warrior society to people is the culture, like similar to the Japanese and the samurai. So that was a warrior society as well. So it's similar in the same way, but with Native Americans.
Well, you bring up a good point. What I really like, you know, we kind of wander our way over there to it, but the fact that like we were Native Americans they were a warrior society, but there was a lot of matriarchal societies where the women were governed, right. They had power and or also seen as equals. And the way they went about life and did that, I like to take the argument to, I believe Native Americans were more warring with each other when they were being pushed due to Western, like manifest destiny and westward expansion. Because if you look at like the historical trade routes, right, you would have trade centers in like New Mexico, Ohio, the Columbia River, all these places you would find stuff that was traded back and forth between the different tribes. So I don't think it was as warring. Yeah, there probably were conflicts, but you take like the Treaty of Laramie and all those tribes that signed that still to this day have hunting rights in Montana to hunt bison. You know, that's coming together. That was, you know, if you think about like a old powwow back in the days, coming together, we're going to feast, we're going to enjoy the bison because they come to this valley and they flourish, you know. And I think that's often overlooked because people don't know that occurred and it happened.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun right there. But we'll keep this going here.
Good.
Oh, there's Matt right there.
Oh, there I am.
And now I think
that was my flat bill days, man.
Yeah.
I don't wear hats no more.
You don't wear hats anymore, Matt?
Oh man, just keep
you just go no. You just like to get that sunburn, huh?
Yep.
But
well, he likes to show off his 5 head, you know, and the reason I call it that is because you could put 5 fingers instead of 4, you know, 4 head.
But so there's Devil's Tower.
Dude, Devil's Tower is cool.
It is. It's really underrated.
I was shocked at the view from up on that rim up there. It kind of like you could just see the expanse of the hills and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's built up.
Yeah, it builds up to it.
Matt, do you know what the Native American name for it is called?
It's in Lakota. It's Mato, which is bear. Bear's teepee. So Mato teepee.
It's Bear's Lodge.
A Bear's Lodge. Yeah, there's another word for lodge. I don't know, but yeah. So the little short story with that is you see like the lines in it go running up and down. They're saying that was like the bear in their stories, like clawing to like get to the top or in its home. Yeah.
I remember listening to some.
And
I think of the ranger talk we went to when we were there. The guy.
A couple things, yeah, about that is the ranger talked about it, and there's only like 3 other places in the world that have this type of rock with the way the like lines, and you can see it looks like almost like sections of line in this cutout rock.
Yeah.
And it was like Ireland, like some sea cliffs in Ireland, I believe, was one of the places.
That was one place.
And then there was another one, and was it Greece maybe or somewhere?
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he was telling us, and that was kind of cool. We were able to see a park ranger thing at this place last summer. Me and Mark were, and he kind of talked to us about rocks.
That's cool.
Which is actually kind of interesting because on our big trip last year, we had 2 rangers that brought up rock conversations.
Yeah, we had a lot of rock conversations that trip.
We did, and I think that's kind of interesting. When you think about it, the fact that because a lot of rangers, it's up to their interpretation and how they want to run their program when you work for the National Park Service. So it's like, I want to talk about the geological side when I give my ranger.
Oh, they all have like an emphasis area that they focus on.
Yeah, so it's really cool when you meet rangers and talk to them about that stuff.
Yeah,
we're able to do that at Devil's Tower, and I mean, it's really cool. It's one of those places, you think, it looks alienistic. It really does not fit the landscape it's in.
No, it's out there.
It's cool. Go to it. Mark said, he brought it up. He said the whole people like underestimate it. I think that's because it's just it's just up. It's just a rock there. There's not really much to do. You can drive around it. You can walk around it. But we got to camp at the base of it. And I don't know, like there's something special about just being able to enjoy and sit around it. And that you can see why the native people keep it holy and have it holy. And when you're walking around, you'll even see the medicine bundles that people tie in the trees that the native people do. And that's a form of prayer, similar to the, just to the, like, to pay homage to the spirits, to the creator, to the tower itself, and give it its blessing. And there's a few places that, I mean, I've gotten to take Mark up to Chief Mountain, up to, there's a little nice valley at the base of Chief Mountain there, and we were able to see the same kind of things up there.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, it's very, very sacred to native peoples.
Yeah, this is a cool. We always talk about how KOAs are so hit or miss, but the KOA here, I mean, you're like right at the base of it. So I mean, you wake up in the morning, it's like, boom, there it is. It's crazy.
And it was a nice KOA. It was not spacious, a lot of grass. Good one. Like if you're looking for a place to stay, I mean, not a bad one. And
I mean, the Prairie Dogs, where I'm standing here, the Prairie Dogs, they're so cool. But keeping going with the video, Devil's Tower is totally underrated in my personal opinion. But this is honestly, I think, the end of it.
That's in Billings right there.
Yeah. My favorite part of this video is coming. So there's actually at the base of
you can see the lines of the tower a lot better.
Yeah, this is my favorite part of this video because we went to Mount Rushmore. And if you're watching the video, you can't see Mount Rushmore. So I've been to Mount Rushmore, i.e. video proof here, pics or it didn't happen. We have the pics, but I never saw it the first time that we went because we have snow that you see here. But I wasn't until like last year that I actually got to see Mount Rushmore. I've been to Mount Rushmore twice, but it wasn't until last year that I actually saw it.
Oh, that was a fun trip. Matt, do you want to talk about that trip at all? Anything that comes out to mind?
I remember we're driving through one of those towns, Deadwood or somewhere.
Deerfish or something like that.
probably
No, it was Deadwood. I think it was in the Black Hills, and I remember, because we had Selena and Rachel with us too, and I remember you just totally missed a stop sign.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And you're just like, you just went right on through, and Selena's just like dying. She's like, you didn't even attempt to stop.
Well, to defend myself, it was like 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning, something like that, I want to say.
Well, didn't we like not sleep much on the way out?
Well, yeah, on the way out. Remember, because
But we
it was
stayed at
before we
Zach's.
met up with Zach, right?
Oh,
We drove all the way out from Corvallis, and we got into Bozeman before he was gonna get in. We went to that museum that they got there.
Museum of the Rockies.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they have the observatory or like the something, and all four of us, so you, me, Selena, Rachel, we ended up not seeing any whatever they had showing because we all fell asleep.
We all fell asleep
in it.
Yeah. And which is actually kind of funny because it's been the same show since I was like a fifth grader in fifth grade, so years ago. It's a stars show, and you like the stars.
Oh, I know, but I mean, we were so tired. We were so tired.
You guys know what I did the day before? I remember that. I was with my family in California.
Yeah, that's right. Because
that
we were waiting
morning,
for you before we could leave.
we left Lodi, which is like 40 minutes south of Sacramento. It was 75 in California. Got to Corvallis. That's when Mark and Selena and Rachel and I took off once I got there.
Mhm.
Then we were driving overnight into Montana, and it's snowing. So I went from 75 in California to snow in one day, and it was insane.
Well, and that's the thing, and people don't get that with Montana, that you can get snow in September. You can get snow in May. In June. We were up in Sealy that June and July, and it was like this rain could turn to snow any second.
Yep.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, no, that's always nuts.
Yeah. And then I woke up, and I remember Rachel was giving you a break.
Yeah.
And we were somewhere over like by Whitehall, we're coming off the pass from Butte, and it was snow everywhere.
Yeah.
And I woke up.
Was that one of the first times that you actually came out to Montana, Matt?
That was my first time in Montana ever.
So what was that like? What was that kind of coming from 75 degrees and coming into the snow and being your first time in Montana? What's going through your mind?
Well, I'd been to Coeur d'Alene before, to Idaho, the area I live now. I'd been to this area, but I just remember like it's just like a lot of forest. It was dark. And then we got, into like Missoula. I couldn't see anything on the way out until I woke up, like coming off the pass from Butte. So that was my first moment of like seeing Montana was over there by Whitehall. And
you're probably questioning it.
Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of snow and a lot of like open, big sky country, right? It's pretty wide open. So
I don't know if our listeners out there if they've heard past podcasts, we've talked about my first time going out to Montana. And first impressions of Montana are not the best.
I don't know, Matt, though.
To Montana.
I didn't see any people when I woke up. I was just like, there's no one here. It's just a lot of prairie and mountains.
But give it a chance. Give it a chance. It's just first impressions.
That valley, though, Matt, there's a valley by Whitehall there, you're saying, when you're going through the Continental Divide, Homestake Pass, as they call it, you come down into this valley, and you look south, headed east on I-90 there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You look south, and you can literally see where the mountains turn into the valley.
Yeah.
And it is just like, it's one of my favorite views along that drive. Really? Because you can just see, and like we've done that drive down there. There's some really cool old mining, ghost town kind of towns, Virginia City, whatnot down there. It's really cool area, really cool country. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't been down there. It's off the beaten trail. It's definitely, there's some touristy stuff, but it's also like, it's real Montana. It's cool, that area.
Yeah, I don't know. Montana's first impressions, man. It's something else. No, but you should. I mean, I've never been to the areas you're talking about there, Zach. But
yeah, you like mountains, you like trees, you like Montana. That's what it is.
yeah, for sure. When you get out, when you start heading out east of Montana, it's not as pretty. It's all flat.
Oh, right when you hit Billings, actually, because you can argue, which is a fun thing with the Yellowstone River, where it about Park City, Montana on I-90 is where like it becomes a plains river. It turns from a mountain river to a plains river, and you definitely open to the grasslands, the plains, all the way to the Badlands in South Dakota, and that's kind of where we're headed this way, Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did that. We met up in Bozeman because Matt was actually going to school. He went to go get his master's there his first year.
Not at that time though.
I know,
touring it.
I visited while we were there and checked out campus, and
yeah.
I was telling Mark, like, I'd honestly rather live in Bozeman than where I'm at now.
Yeah.
It's a nice place.
And I'll tell you why. It's that, yeah, there's like more of a familiarity here, like more similar to Oregon in some ways. There is more trees here, right? And there's lakes, but it's the people here are worse than Bozeman people, I have to say. Like, you went to Walmart, Zach, with Tyler. You remember? I was like, oh, they're worse than Montana people. Like,
I mean,
like I didn't even know what kind of breed of people they were. Like, it was like inbred, man. It was bad. It was that bad.
I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, man. I look at everybody, and we're all people at the end of the day. We all have the same wants and needs. So that's
like Mark would always say, my people are here, or this place. Like,
I haven't found my people.
Right.
They're Montana people. He just doesn't do good with first impressions.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Mark,
I think the closest I've come to my people would be Victoria, Vancouver Island, Canada. Because it's all like Oregon, like Pacific Northwest weather, but people are just like laid back. They got their sandals on. So
you say that, but I also see you as like a Coloradoian.
Oh yeah, I just haven't been there, so I don't know if they are my people. Well, I've been to Colorado, but I haven't been to. I went where were we? Where was that?
Grand Junction.
Yeah, No, well, we went. I went to Grand Junction for work.
Oh,
but then where did we see Mike? Where's
Fort Collins? That was a college town. And we stayed in the college town area.
That's part of where I'm going with Bozeman, is because there's a university there, and there's some people from different places. It makes it a little better than North Idaho fucking 2 years.
Matt, let's be real. You're like, they have a university, and I have a Tinder account.
Yeah, that's
more university girls are on Tinder. Let's be real. Let's put 2 and 2 together.
I mean, at this point, that's not really it, but
no, I get you.
I think with Mark's impression of Montana, personally, I think he's seen that parade at Sealy one too many times. I think that's
great 4th of July parade in Sealy Lake, Montana. The only problem I hate is like people try and make it political. They make parades political.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see the Trump train. I don't want to see the Hillary train. Like, I want fucking candy. I want you to spray me with water. I want a beer cozy, and I want like you to honk your horn. Like, that's what I want to see. I don't want to fucking see the other bullshit.
Right.
And then I want to go to Holland Lake, because that's what we always do on the 4th. I don't know why we don't go to Sealy on the 4th. We go to Holland.
Holland is a beautiful lake, though.
Beautiful lake.
Like, that's such a nice lake.
But we end up there on the 4th, like, every time, where it's like, let's go to this one. No, it's great. It's all good.
Kind of the segue here. Matt, what'd you think of our last trip up to Glacier and then Yellowstone?
Yeah, yeah, that trip was that was a that was a different one than we've done before for a lot of reasons. I think with the Glacier one, just with COVID and the whole park not being opened,
Yeah, right.
we haven't really had to. I don't know if you guys have, but we haven't dealt with that before, really.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
we
know, like
dealt
little
with
parts of
closures.
parks.
The first time I went, half the
Uh-huh.
park was closed due to a fire.
Oh,
So
was
I've
that
dealt
you
with
on your own?
closures. What was that?
Was that you on your own?
No, that
Or
was the first time I went out to Montana.
oh,
Zach and I went to Yellowstone, and then we went up to Glacier. And we could only get to, but we still got to Logan's Pass. Whereas this time we couldn't even get to Logan's Pass.
yeah,
Heck, we couldn't even get past Avalanche.
Yeah.
And some days you couldn't even get past Apgar. That one day we couldn't even get past Apgar.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true too.
So
yeah.
it's a cool part, I think, because of that, because it's still wild in that sense of like, nah, we can't.
Yeah.
Well, like even though things were closed, we still figured out things to do. I mean, we found some spots. The Avalanche Creek was cool. I
Yeah.
like that little hike, and and then just head down from Glacier to Yellowstone. I think it was awesome, with our friends that were there for your bachelor party, especially our African friends. Like that was cool to see that for them to see all the park, and there happened to be a ton of wildlife out throughout the whole park, for them to see.
Well, we
So,
got the big two, as I like to call it, with the bears, right? We got the black bear and the
yeah,
grizzly bear. We saw them both. I mean, they're not as close as I would have liked,
hmm
especially the black bear because he was across the river hiding in the trees. But they saw it.
Yeah. No,
Like
that's true.
even if it was at a distance, you saw it.
Yep.
And the grizzly bear, same thing. We saw it.
Yeah.
I
No,
just,
I mean, that's all that matters is you see it.
I think the thing that was missing from that experience, though, that we got with the bison, we definitely got it with the bison, especially in the
yeah,
Lamar Valley, was I think the respect for the animal as the animal, because people with bears, a lot of times they see a bear, it's far off in the distance, whatever, right? But like when you can get up close and personal with a bear and actually like feel them, and that's like I mean feel by like you can your sensor height and you're focused on them because it's like if he moves this way, fuck, like what do I do? Like you're close, you can see what he's doing, see what he's interacting with. And I think that experience with a bear is unique, and you can get that in Yellowstone. But it's just like it's a unique experience that I think people, if more people had it with a bear, they would understand bears. And I actually, which is interesting, with this conversation of bears and them being in the pig family, we're very similar to pigs. Our heart is like the most similar heart to a human heart is a pig heart, and our DNA like is very like similar to pig DNA. And I'm curious if that has anything to do with like when we have the term brother bear, and you
Oh, I
make like
mean,
those type of comments and like the history and the respect and the understanding of an animal and like the top of the
yeah.
food chain kind of thing. Just something to think about.
you're saying the pig heart and the human heart are close.
They've done like science cloning and stuff to like where it's like possible, like if you were to do a heart transplant, like you could do it with a pig one. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
not to go too conspiracy on you guys here, but the Alex Jones guy on Joe Rogan was talking about the human pig hybrids.
Oh,
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
He was going deep about that, man, and that would kind of align with that theory
But
of
I
like,
take it to the bear being in the pig family in the sense that we, as like native people, have referred to them as brother and walked among them. And
wait, the bear is in the pig family?
yeah, you didn't know that?
No,
Oh, well, you learn something new every day.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. No.
I would have never thought.
I hate to be this guy, but our time is coming to an end.
Oh,
So we need to have our final words. So, because Matt,
buddy.
you're our guest, we're gonna give you the floor for final words. What do you got, my guy?
Final words. I did want to. I had a comment on Yellowstone.
Okay.
So the highlight I thought of this trip to Yellowstone was going up that Lamar Valley in the evening, seeing all those buffalo out there like that, and then going further where the mountains came up. I'd never been over past the end of that valley before. And I have to say, after being there, I think that's a place I recommend people go visit, because a lot of people stay in those two loops and they don't go out in that part. I think that area is a underrated place of the park, and after seeing it, I think people would really enjoy going out there.
Yeah,
especially in that time we did in the evening with the sunset. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think you hit it on the head there. It's because people don't come in through the Billings or Cook City way, which is something like we do recommend. You go over the Beartooth Pass, stay in Red Lodge, stay in Cook City, and come out that way, because that's why people don't. You're coming from Bozeman, you're coming from West Yellowstone, you're coming from Jackson Hole, you're coming from Cody. You're not going out that Lamar Valley way. If you want to see animals, that's where you see them. You see them in the morning, you see them at night, you see the herds during the day. Fucking great valley. I'm glad you got to experience it.
That's awesome. Yeah, Zach, final words.
My final words are they're going to be interesting this week, because we wanted to talk more about that trip to South Dakota, talk about Crazy Horse and Mount Rushmore. We did. I think we could dive more into the Crazy Horse Sioux type talk with Matt on a later podcast, just because he's been there, he knows more about, that's his people from Pine Ridge. I think that is something we need to tease our listeners with, because Matt knows some cool shit about that stuff out there. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just like I did yesterday, I went on a hike. I forced myself to go out to Mystic Lake. Force yourself to go out into Mother Nature. Find something that's 1-2 hours away from you. Make it happen. Be cheap about it. Figure it out. Have a good time. That's it.
I love it. Amen, brother.
Reverend's final words of
wisdom, because we're running real short on time here. Guys, stay beautiful. You're amazing. Matt, thank you so much for being the guest again. We look forward to having you on again to talk about Crazy Horse and all that crazy stuff. Motion is the potion. I talked about it today. Go out and move, whether it's a walk in the park, whether it's just some push-ups in the morning, go do something. Motion is the potion. You're going to feel better by getting that body moving. That being said, I want to say peace out. Thank you, everybody.